Welcome to a technical elective and AMP information session for electrical and computer engineering. This particular information session is geared towards the 2023-2024 academic year. We'll then look at the fall of 2023 first, and then we'll move into the spring of 2024. And as you're thinking about technical electives, I would encourage you to think broadly. Don't limit yourself to one particular area within electrical and computer engineering, but instead think about what you might be doing or what you don't know that you will be doing in 10 years and 15 years. You want to have a strong foundation of understanding, knowledge, skills in many different areas so that you can gracefully move back and forth across these particular topical areas. And as you're thinking that way in terms of selecting technical electives, I've tried to organize or illustrate how we've tried to organize our numbers on the course assigned, the numbers assigned to the courses. Here you'll see that signals and systems classes are in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, and that's consistent with circuits, which was 220, and circuit theory, which was 320. Electronics, that was 351C, 352, those are in the 50s. If you're interested in something dealing with electronics, you might first look at the decade of the 50s. If you're in the computer area, remember 175, 274A, 372A, those are 70s. We also go down into the 60s for our computer decades for courses or labeling, and then electromagnetics, that's in the 80s. That's now how we've tried to organize our numbering. What you might do now is search for classes that are available in the fall semester of 2023. And you can do that many different ways, but one way to try to understand what is now being offered in the fall is to go to the U of A website and just type in class search in the search box, and that should then take you to the following page. And this page now lets you select which campus you would like to examine in terms of courses. And I'm going to focus today on the main campus, but if you're an online student, you could check out the online classes. Doing that, and once you get to the main campus site, you'll be asked to say, okay, what particular course subject? And here I've restricted that to electrical and computer engineering, but I didn't then say, just show me the 400s or the 500s. I just said, show me all the open class sections. And here we are in the main. So you're going to see that many of these classes, hopefully you've already completed or are taking. Those are in the 200 or in the 200s and the 300s. Now what you want to do is say, oh, would I be interested in taking web development and the Internet of Things? You can click on that and see when it's offered, who the instructor is. And class details now give you, well, they usually give you, maybe I've timed out, but if you do the class details, let me go ahead. Okay, it's not going to. And I've probably now typed it wrong. Now I can show you, searching on the subject for electrical and computer engineering, contains, I'm not going to do anything more than just show the open classes for the fall, hit the search. And now we're back to where I was before when I was so rudely reminded that maybe things had timed out. We now are looking at web development and the Internet of Things. If we check the class details, now you can read the course description. You can also look at prerequisites. You need to be in advanced standing engineering and have completed 275. And availability, you can see how many particular seats are available in that particular class. That now allows you to fairly quickly look at a numerical listing of what courses are available during the fall 2023 semester. And we did that with a class search. If you wanted to get a little bit more information, for example, textbook information, the course description you've already seen, but maybe the topics, the learning outcomes, prerequisites might be listed there. You could now look at these particular links to find the syllabi for a short syllabi for the undergraduate classes and a short syllabus for the graduate classes. And the reason why I'm suggesting you might want to look at graduate classes, if you have a high enough GPA, you can take graduate level classes. You just have to request that, and you simply go to the U of A website and search on undergraduate enrollment and graduate course. You need to submit a form and let them know, are you taking it for undergraduate credit? Are you taking it for graduate credit? You can also find all of the courses, not just that are taught in the fall or maybe a different semester. Now you can look at all of ours by going to the course catalog on the U of A website. You'll see a pop-up window when you look for ECE. You can say view all course descriptions. And now you'll get a listing of all course descriptions in electrical and computer engineering in numerical order. But that's now a way to think about planning what you're going to be taking. If you're now looking specifically for fall of 2023, you can now start looking at them numerically. Or maybe this will be beneficial, is here are the courses for technical elective credit organized by the particular area. Computer area, those are in the 60s and 70s. If you're an electrical engineering option, you could take 369A, computer architecture, how do you build a computer or how is a computer built, or object-oriented software design, 373. Those are available to you as technical electives if you're in the electrical engineering option. We already looked at Internet of Things class 413, 513. I'm listing the 513 because that's what you would be taking if you were interested in the accelerated master's program, which we will talk about at the end of this session. But there you get to use 4 classes, both towards your undergraduate degree and your graduate degree. You just take one of those classes, the 500 version, and you can now count it towards your undergraduate BS degree and your graduate MS degree. That's why I'm listing the 500 classes. If you're not pursuing the accelerated master's program, you can still take graduate level classes. And for example, if you were interested in cybersecurity, the beginnings, the theory and the practice, that's only listed as a 500 level class. You would have to then go back up here and say, oh, I need to submit a form to take ECE 509, and I want to count it towards my undergraduate degree, but it's a graduate level class. I can now do that if you're strong enough academically. In the electronics and the bio area, you could look at electrical and optical properties of materials. How do these work together? How can you integrate optical materials and electrical materials to make interesting devices? Semiconductor processing, that's a class if you want to know how do you actually manufacture these electronic circuits. analog integrated circuits. How do you actually design and build these larger connected transistor-based circuits to create integrated circuits in one package? If you were interested in the electromagnetics classes, you now in the fall hopefully will be able to take 486, 586. Now that's in a particular frequency range. Those are microwave frequencies, and we're dealing in 486, 586 with passive circuits. No power applied to those to get those to work. If you're interested into the optics side, there's a holography and diffractive optics class. And we're offering a new class, 440, 540, quantum sensing and quantum machine learning. And if you wanted to know a little bit more about that, you would go over here. And I thought it was here listed, at least it's in the 540 range, but now you could look at the class details. And now you're trying to figure out, oh, how do we use quantum mechanics to help us with information processing and detection and estimation concepts from a quantum mechanical perspective? And that might be something that you're interested in learning more about, because maybe it is one of the waves of the future. If you're in signals and systems area, now you have digital signal processing, optical communications, automatic control systems. Then we have 500 level courses, which are advanced linear systems theory. That's really linear algebra, but now it's a theorem proof class that tries to also provide you with a bridge into quantum mechanics, mathematics, or infinite dimensional spaces by learning the foundation of finite dimensional linear algebra theory. 503, that's very important in information processing, in signals and systems, and even in control, understanding how randomness can be modeled and used and understood as it applies to engineering applications. Digital communication systems, that now follows 435 if you've had 435, and then radar signal processing. How do we use radar, and how do we now apply that in a signal processing way? If you're interested in business or entrepreneurship, I hope you're hearing this now as maybe a sophomore. You want to take this during your junior year. This is a 2-semester sequence. It's the reason you want to take it during your junior year is because it is a time conflict with our capstone class in engineering. But they do allow, Eller does, or the McGuire New Venture Development Program does allow our students as juniors to go and learn more about entrepreneurship. The 487 is the fall class, so don't get confused with the numerical ordering of these, but 487 is the fall-based class. That is now the integration of marketing and production. The spring version is now how do you do these business plans, financial, operational, etc. If you're trying to plan out your schedule, now what you will realize you won't be able to take every one of these classes because we don't have enough time in the day to allocate one particular class period for each of the classes that we offer. And that means that you will have to make a decision between computer networking, 478, or 430, 530, which is optical communications. You won't have to make that decision if you're interested in 450, 550, which was integrated circuits. You will then have to make that decision if you're interested in digital communications 2 or automatic control, for example. But this now tells you, hopefully this is somewhat firmed up, where you could find at what time of day, and you could plan your schedule based on the courses that you want to take during the fall semester. You really want to plan further ahead than just one semester. So it is useful to be thinking about what you're going to be taking in the spring semester. Again, these are the organization of these courses by areas. We have the computer courses where you might want to understand how do you do differentiation or integration on a computer, and what kind of decisions do you need to make. Machine learning, if you're interested in machine learning, we have a course there. Computer architecture, what if you really liked ECE 369A and you wanted to go the next step? How do we further enhance our ability to build high-performing computers? And there's another class, high-performance computing. How do we do that? What's the theory behind it? And how do I design that? Information and network security, that's 471, 571. That deals a lot with cryptography, computer-aided logic design. Typically that's taught in the fall, but I think right now we're planning, due to sabbatical decisions of different faculty, we'll probably try to offer that in the spring semester. And that's why you need to be thinking further ahead than just one semester. Artificial intelligence, if you're interested in that, that's 479, 579, and then advanced topics in computer networks. In the electronics and bioengineering, we have design of electronic circuits. We have device electronics. If you're in a computer engineering option, you can take 352 and or 381A, introductory electromagnetics, if you're in the computer engineering option as technical electives. If you want to understand how do you build very large scale integrated circuits for digital applications, that's 407, 507. Math methods for optics and photonics, that's 503. If you're interested in how do we communicate with these devices now, how many antennae are in my phone or in other devices, that now background is provided in 484, 584. And signals and systems classes, we have digital image processing, 533. How do we process these images? How do we do filtering, etc.? Digital control systems. Here's the digital communication systems, which if you're 3-4 semesters out from graduating, you can now take this in the spring semester and subsequently maybe take the 537 in the fall semester. The weekly schedule here, we're not that far out in terms of planning for the spring 2024, but based on the spring 2023, this is where the classes now live in terms of the week and the day of the week and the time during the week in your planning activities. That's what I would like to say for technical electives. What about accelerated master's program? That was a second part of this session. What is ECE AMP? And now we're not talking about amperes or current flow. Now we're talking about the accelerated master's program. If you're a strong undergraduate, you can now complete your BS and MS in 5 years by taking advantage of the accelerated master's program. And as I said, what this allows you to do is you can take up to 12 units. That's really 4 classes at the 500 level that will count towards your BS degree. And you can also use those same 4 classes towards your MS degree. Our master's degree comes in 2 different varieties. There's a non-thesis or coursework only. That's 30 units or 10 classes. And there's a thesis option, which is now 8 classes or 24 units. If you do the non-thesis, now what that says is, oh, if you do up to 12 units, now you have 18 units remaining in 1 year's time frame. So that's now going to look like 3 classes in, let's say, the fall semester and 3 classes in the spring semester in the 1 year beyond finishing your BS degree. And that's why you can now complete a BS and an MS in 5 years. And obviously, if you do a thesis, you would want to be doing your thesis in that 1 year time interval, and that would reduce the number of units that you need. Now you really just need 12 more units in addition to the 6 units of thesis if you've done up to 12 when you were pursuing your BS degree. And this is what it looks like if you wanted to look at the mapping or the grid of courses. We have the traditional freshman, sophomore, junior, but this is now how the graduate program combines with the senior or the undergraduate program. You can see these orange squares are the elective courses. You're now taking 4 technical electives or up to 4 at the graduate level during your undergraduate degree program. And that now says, oh, if you do 4 of these during your undergraduate degree, you only have 6 more graduate courses remaining to complete your Master of Science degree in electrical and computer engineering. It's a really good way to obtain additional knowledge, additional skills, and it's going to be a year beyond your BS. And in fact, you wouldn't necessarily have to constrain yourself to be finishing in 1 year. You do have additional time. If you're now working part-time or full-time, you could still be taking graduate level classes, maybe not 3 in a semester, maybe 1 in a semester, but now in 6 semesters after your BS, you will have completed, if you took 1 in each semester, you would have completed your master's degree. Here's a little bit more information. You need to be a junior or senior. You need to have a 3.3 cumulative undergraduate GPA. We waive the need for you to take the graduate record examination or the GRE to apply to the ECE Master of Science degree. And you can now submit your application once you've completed a minimum of 75 credits as an undergraduate. So that's really in your 2nd semester, junior year, you can apply. You can't start taking these graduate level classes towards the A&P until you are a senior, which means, oh, you need to be having 90 or more units on your transcript in order to start taking up to 12 credits for your electives. If you do have more questions, please contact our graduate advisor, and that's Tammy Whalen. And here is the email that you can use to get in touch with Tammy, and she'll help you better understand and plan for the A&P and how you would integrate that with your undergraduate BS degree. At the very end of this, I've simply provided you with some more links, and hopefully this information will be available to you on my website. You can do the class search. Here's the link to take graduate classes as an undergraduate student. Again, there's a form that you have to fill out. If you wanted to look at all of the course descriptions in one package, you can go to the course catalog. You can now look for the E's and find electrical and computer engineering. And once you do, now you can click on this view all course descriptions, and that will then generate this list of courses in electrical and computer engineering along with their course descriptions. And finally, if you wanted to understand or obtain a little bit more background on faculty, they may be teaching your class, you can listen to their short video. We have videos of most of our faculty. And if you wanted to look at the topics and the course outcomes, here are the links for the undergraduate courses and the graduate courses. I hope this has been helpful for you as you plan for your technical elective courses and potentially pursuing a master's degree with the AMP as one of the options. Good luck with your course selection, and maybe we'll see each other in some of those classes.